Here's a polished and rewritten version of your story, ensuring simple language, corrected grammar, and an overall smooth flow. The day my life changed forever. My life turned upside down the moment the gavel struck the judge's bench. 8 months. That's how long I spent in county jail. 8 months in a place where time felt slower than molasses on a cold winter morning. My crime? Falling behind on child support payments for a child I was told was mine. Her name was Melissa, my ex-wife. When we first met, she was sweet as pie, and our whirlwind romance quickly led to marriage. 6 months into our union, Melissa gave birth to a baby. I believed without question that the baby was mine. I was there at the hospital, cutting the cord, tears streaming down my face as I held her tiny body in my arms. But love, as I've learned, isn't always enough. Melissa and I divorced 3 years later, but the monthly child support checks never stopped. I paid faithfully until I lost my job during a company layoff. I pleaded with the court for a modification, explaining my financial struggles. Melissa, however, painted me as a deadbeat dad who refused to provide for his child. When I fell behind on payments, Melissa filed contempt charges. One moment, I was a man trying to stay afloat. The next, I was an inmate in an orange jumpsuit. 8 months of my life stolen. 8 months of cold bunks, bland food, and sleepless nights staring at the cracked ceiling, wondering how I'd ended up there. On my first day out, my mother called me. Her voice trembled with a mix of anger and relief. She'd hired a lawyer to review my case while I was locked up. "Jake," she said, "the lawyer found something in your medical records. Remember the fertility test you took years ago?" My stomach tightened. "Yeah, what about it?" "You're sterile, Jake. You've always been sterile." I couldn't breathe. The walls closed in as her words sank in. The child I'd gone to jail for, the one I'd spent years supporting, wasn't mine. With my lawyer's help, we petitioned the court for a DNA test. Melissa fought tooth and nail, but the judge ordered it. The results were clear. 99.9% not the father. At first, I didn't feel relief, just blinding anger. I wanted answers, but Melissa offered none. Instead, she played the victim, sobbing in court as if she were the one wronged. When the judge dismissed the child support case, I felt a flicker of justice. But that wasn't enough. The very next day, I sued Melissa for fraud, emotional distress, and defamation. I demanded every penny I'd paid in damages for the time I spent in jail. Melissa's defiance crumbled quickly. One night, she called me, her voice trembling. "Jake, please don't do this. Think about the child. She still thinks you're her father." Her words hit me like a sucker punch. That little girl was innocent. She didn't deserve this. But neither did I. "Melissa," I said coldly, "I spent 8 months in jail because of your lies. That little girl deserves better than you." Then I hung up. During the trial, Melissa put on a performance, crocodile tears and all. But the evidence was clear, and her credibility collapsed under cross-examination. The jury ruled in my favor. I was awarded $250,000 in damages, enough to rebuild my life. Melissa was left financially ruined. The life she'd built on lies came crashing down. She tried contacting me afterward, begging for forgiveness, but I ignored her. My focus was on moving forward. As for the little girl, I ensured she was cared for. With my lawyer, I set up a portion of the settlement in a trust fund for her future. She wasn't to blame for her mother's deceit, and I wasn't going to punish her for it. Some nights, I still think about those 8 months in jail and the years spent living a lie. But in the end, I reclaimed my freedom, my dignity, and my peace of mind. Melissa lost everything because of her own deceit. Justice, though slow, was served. If there's one lesson I've learned, it's this. The truth always finds a way to come out, no matter how deeply it's buried. And when it does, the fallout is inevitable.